Hello my crafty friends. Today I'm going to be making some index cards. I'm using these plain flashcards that I've just purchased from the supermarket. They're about $2 for 100 of them. They're a pretty good cardstock weight, which works well for this project. And the one side is plain, which is the side I'm going to decorate with the embellishments, and the other side is lined, which I will use for the journaling. I'm first going to do the background and then I'll do the embellishments once the backgrounds are done. So to start with that, I'm going to put some color onto the card. I'm using inks with some water spray on an acrylic block to get these designs onto the cardstock. Now, if you don't have inks, you could also use watercolors or watered down acrylics. I really love this method because you don't really know what design you're going to get once you press the paper down, and it's really exciting to see how the designs and how the color attaches to the page when you turn it up. And you can make it as light or as dark as you want, and you can keep going until you get all different designs and patterns onto your background. I'm going for a vintage feel with this set of index cards, so I'm going for the browns and rusts in my ink colors. Although I'm not embellishing the back, which will be the writing side, I'm still going to add color to that so that they're double-sided and they don't just look plain white and just stock. They'll just carry the theme to the back. As you can see, the more you add, the darker the colors come, and it's got some beautiful designs and textures that have appeared from the inks. I'm now adding some gesso just with my finger. This is just to add a couple of lighter areas in the background so it's not all quite so dark. I also like the texture that the gesso leaves when you do it in this method. I'm also just distressing the edges of each side of each card. I love stamping in my background and I use it quite a lot. I'm using this vintage script with black ink just to add a little bit of a design just here and there. I don't use the stamp hole, just sections of it in certain areas. This is a black watercolor pencil that I'm dipping the point in some water and then just going around the edge. I don't want it neat and tidy, I want it quite rough looking, and I'll do a little bit of a squiggle here and there as well, just to give it a little bit of interest and something a little different. Some areas are thicker, some are thinner, but I do like what it adds to the overall look of the background. It's gone quite thick. This works best with a really sharp pencil. I'm just going to add one more layer to my background. I'm going to add a bit more gesso. This time I'm using just a small piece of cardboard, and I'm just scraping it on in sort of right angles or just straight areas, just here and there, and it also just adds more texture to the overall look. Now you could use these cards just like this. You don't need to add any embellishments. I'm going to add embellishments because I have an idea to use these in a junk journal that I'm making for a design team project, but you don't have to. You could use them just like that. I think they look fine like that too, but let's embellish them. I'm doing each one with a different design, but the theme and color is going to match the set of three. I don't really have a pre-planned embellishments. I have an idea of sort of what I want to do, so you'll see me making changes and trying different things as I go. But I think that is all in the process of creating. Is you have an idea in your mind, but you don't always get that down on your creation. You just try different things and see what matches, what doesn't match, and that's the whole fun of doing these kinds of things. You could use black ink or any color ink to do that edging on the circles, but I really like the watercolor pencil effect and I use that quite a bit. This is a Kaiser Craft double-sided 12-inch by 12-inch cardstock sheet. It has a list of words with dictionary meanings. For example, this one is the word vintage, and I'll be using these cut up in each of my cards today. I'm using this black string. It's just cotton from my sewing machine that I just scrunch up underneath for additional texture, and I do like the feel it gives, and it brings a little bit of additional color for the contrast if I use the black, and I really do like the overall look that it gives. For the tab top of my index card, I'm just going to use a piece of vintage printed paper folded in half that I'll be sewing with my sewing machine. I'm also punching out some green little dots with my little hole punch and sticking those on for additional color. This is some used tea bag that I'm dying to use somewhere, but I don't think I use it in this card. I couldn't find a good spot for it. I'm just gluing everything down with some hot glue, each layer at a time. I don't have my sewing machine on camera, so I'm just going to go and stitch that, and there you go. I've done a zigzag and a straight over 3 times. I like that rough stitching, and then I'm going to stick on that number 55. That's actually a tile from a vintage bingo game that I'm just going to find a good spot for and put that down for a final touch. That's the first index card finished. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you find inspiration to create your own index cards, and I'll see you again soon. Bye!